Gallopin Gaucho. This is the third. Okay, so this is the second made of the Mickey Mouse shorts. I want to say that right now. The second made, but sort of the third released in the re-releases. So, I don't know how you feel about that, but it's usually considered listed third because Steamboat Willie was sort of the one that lit the world on fire. Plain Crazy was an obvious successor and really imaginative. And I think Gallopin Gaucho, to most people, is the worst of the three. And I agree with them. But it's still good. It's still fun to watch. But it's not as imaginative. I'm actually surprised that it is sort of like the middle of the trilogy of the first three Mickey Mouses, because it feels like they're not really as much. Gallopin Gaucho was released actually 55 years before I was born. On August 2nd, 1928. That was when the silent one came out. The sound one actually came out later that same year on December 30th. But what I don't get... Okay, so I don't actually get this because... So the silent version went in the public domain this year. But it's the same year, 1928, as like the rest of them. So why isn't the sound one in the public domain? That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, but whatever. But it was sort of the third one released. This is a parody of the Douglas Fairbanks thing called the Gaucho. Douglas Fairbanks and Douglas Fairbanks Jr. are kind of two actors. Douglas Fairbanks is an actor who's really big in the silent era, who I don't think people sort of heard of him, but I don't think most of his film portrayals have aged super well. So, or we hear about as much. But this was a major movie at the time. So yes, Family Guy parodying things goes all the way back to early cinema and stuff like that. The cartoons have always been parodying other movies. That is not new, as I've said before many times. But this is obviously the most direct one that's referencing a movie. You know, obviously Steamboat Willie references Steamboat Bill Jr., but the Gaucho was like the big hit. It would be basically like, I guess, Dune or Barbie, something like that. Be like one of the big hits. It's like Mickey Mouse made an Oppenheimer parody. I guess there's no comparison of Mickey Mouse, Oppenheimer, Jesus. But anyway, one thing I did find interesting, so the plot, okay, I'll say the plot is Mickey is coming on an ostrich, which the Wikipedia corrects that it is a rhea, which is a kind of ostrich found in South America, which, sure, I was a little like, is that in the Gaucho? I'm just going to assume it is. Why not? I've never seen that movie. Do I plan to? Maybe I should. Maybe I'll look that up. I don't have the time to do that, but in my head I will. Mickey meets Minnie. They pretend they've never met each other. I think the two iconic shots from this is Mickey in the windowsill with the toothpick, which I believe Douglas Fairbanks does in that. Comes down and does a dance with Minnie. Most people have seen those shots. The rest of it, no one seems to ever care about. But those two shots do look neat, so there you go. I'm sure one of them, quite possibly one or the other, will be the thumbnail of this video. But they do the dance. Then Pete comes in and steals Minnie, and Mickey chases him. And the parts I like towards the end are like Mickey unravels his tail, makes it into a rope to climb up a building, and makes his belt into sort of like a pulley conveyor thing and goes up. I think that's really cool. I thought that was neat, but it doesn't have the imagination. Like, first off, Mickey doesn't abuse animals in this enough. So that's, I mean, come on. Is this really a classic Mickey Mouse short? It just doesn't feel as imaginative. It does feel like, I think a lot of silent shorts are, we start here, we end here, crazy shit happens. Not enough crazy shit. Like, if I was high on ether, which Iwerks I'm assuming was, I would not be tripping out as much as I was with Plain Crazy and Steamboat Willie. This one just feels like not as much stuff is happening. But I did learn, this is actually interesting. So Pete, who's now, in Mickey Mouse's Playhouse, continues on forever and ever, associated with Mickey Mouse, is actually older than Mickey Mouse. Apparently he was the antagonist in the Alice comedies and the Oswald shorts. So this is actually his first encounter with Mickey, since this was made before Steamboat Willie, but he predated all that. Now, why, what I don't understand, why didn't Universal or other distributors sue Disney to get Pete back? Or maybe they didn't care, or maybe they didn't notice it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of interesting, but I didn't know Pete predated Mickey Mouse. There's not much else really to this. I think it is kind of the one that people, you watch it even before this like public domain thing. I knew people who watched the first three. That's a fairly common animation history thing. And people would always go, yeah, I don't know, the third one's like reference some movie I haven't seen. Maybe I should see the Gaucho and re-review this. Again, I probably don't have the time to do that, but I would be curious if someone has done that. Actually, that would probably be an interesting review. So if you make content and are like, that's a concept, go make it. Please at me and let me know if you did. I'd be curious. But honestly, the one thing I did find a couple Wikipedias is this quote from the Wikipedia. Hold on. I want to bring up the full quote, but it starts off. This is like a banger. Hold on. This is my favorite pull quote. I'm not even joking. This is the best way to end this review. This is from the Film Daily on January 6, 1929. This is the quote. I don't need to read the full thing. This features Mickey Mouse, the demon hero who has his ups and downs. So, I'm sorry. Someone wrote Mickey Mouse, the demon hero? What? That sounds like the greatest anime ever. Why don't they do more with that? That's... None of the rest of the review is as good as this features Mickey Mouse, the demon hero. Love it. He was a bit much more of a rascal then. But a demon hero? I don't know. I think this is a fine little short. I don't think it's notable for quality. It's notable because of where it is in history, and it's fun to watch because of that. It doesn't have the Iwerks animating a thing, on ones by himself. I'm sure he did. It seems like maybe he was a little tired at this point, and then got a second win to make Steamboat Willie. This doesn't feel as notable. It doesn't feel as interesting, but it does feature Mickey Mouse, the demon hero, and it is one of the first ones that really took off. So I think it has a bit of history, and that's what keeps it going, but I don't know if anything about it really does that other than the iconic shots. It's just sort of like an early Mickey Mouse short, and it's, if you're watching all of them, I guess it fits in with all of those, but it definitely doesn't feel while you're watching it or after you watch it than it is for the actual film history that it's a part of.